I'm going to start this one.
Bagus.
Who?
You taught me that. Bagus.
Bagus. Oh, right,
Bagus. Like
bagus.
it's awesome, amazing.
Yeah, terima kasih. You should remember that,
Yeah,
I
terima
guess.
kasih. Thank you.
Yes.
All of the Selamats, Selamat sore, Selamat pagi,
All
but
of
it's
this.
the morning for you guys, definitely. So all of the
Okay.
Selamats. Jeez.
All right. So
Such
anyway,
familiarity.
what we are going to do
Hmm.
in about, let's see, 20 minutes or so. So we're going like warming up, and then I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. Maybe
Hmm.
you can tell us your experience while you are here. Last year, is it last year or last 2 years ever?
It was 2 years ago. Remember last summer? Like this summer, I was supposed to come, but then the
Exactly.
coronavirus,
You were supposed
I
to
was supposed to come
come.
back.
Oh my God. Oh, yeah. I was like, is it last year or last 2 years?
I haven't been anywhere, okay?
Oh my God. Can you believe that? It's just, I've been nowhere too. I was planning to go to Japan this by the end of this year. And then
Oh,
it was like, I couldn't go.
no, like that part of like, okay, so I get to do nothing.
Right. Tell me about it.
Nothing. I don't get to go anywhere. I need to Google. Like legitimately, I've seen my mom 4 times this year from like a far distance because she's
Uh-huh,
older.
uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
And I haven't seen my older brother at all since March. And
Oh
my
my
little brother,
God.
my middle brother, I've seen twice since March.
Oh
But
wow.
I'm one of those that like my mom, is older and she's very high risk.
Mm,
So I'm one of those that's like the mask as soon as I walk outside. Um, knock on wood, everybody in my family's
yeah,
fine.
it's just hopefully everyone is fine.
Well,
Yeah.
our numbers are getting like really
I know.
bad.
I read the news and I was like, oh my God, I hope everyone is fine.
The teacher next to me,
Mm.
her grandfather just passed away this weekend.
Oh,
So it's
and
that
because
part of,
of COVID.
yeah.
Oh, sorry
But
to
it's,
hear that.
I mean, I don't know how it is in Indonesia, but here we still have a lot
Mm.
of people that don't take it seriously.
Just the same. We're just the same. I think the yeah, it's everywhere is the same, Amber. So hopefully it's getting better. And okay, continuing what I'm saying. so you're
No
going.
worries.
so you're going.
I'm about to look at my phone and see how I can put a background behind me because in Google Meet, what I use is super easy. I just go to backgrounds and I'm like, and I'm at the beach.
Yeah, not not everything. Oh no, your background is good. I mean, it shows originally where you live.
Yes, it shows my apartment.
Yes,
It's a small
yes.
corner of it, so you don't really see
So
anything else.
you squeeze yourself in the corner and then
Well, it makes it easy because, like, on this wall, when I have to teach at home, I have a board up that
oh,
I put on the wall so that,
really?
like, if I'm getting, like, I can do a lot of stuff online with technology, but
Yeah.
sometimes it really helps if, like, I just go ahead and start breaking it down like
Yeah.
traditional notes.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
I ordered it on Amazon and I have, like, the markers and, like, I teach like it's like the 1990s in here.
That's cool.
I'm prepared. I've got
Yes.
a I've got a green screen that I took to
You
school so
do?
I took it to school so that I could do stuff.
Oh, okay. So
So
you can
I
use
should
it at
I should
school
have brought it
too.
back home, but I'll be at school tomorrow. So I've got a green screen that I can do stuff with and like my
Really?
my good lights at school.
You have this ring light
Yeah.
or something? Oh my God.
See, this is just that overhead light coming on me. I need to
Yeah,
like
yeah,
if I
yeah,
have a
yeah.
ring light,
Yeah,
then it'd be
I have lights over me, so it's cool. It's bright on my face. Okay.
yes.
So you can maybe you can also tell that experience to our teachers, like how you prepare everything during your online class, and when you now back to school and have your students back at school also.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
maybe
know that
you can share that.
you know, my brain jumped around to like a ton of different things because I use so much technology in my room that
Yeah.
it's hard to be like, what do I need to settle on?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was, you know, when I was in Ambon
Mm-hmm.
2 summers ago, and I
Mm-hmm.
did the same presentation, but like not
Mm-hmm.
that one. Like I did the applicable part, the part where I show you how to
Yeah.
do stuff and where you go. I found that most people were more like they wanted to know more about Google Classroom than they did about like the other cool things that I wanted to show. Cause I'm like, look at this, it's 3-dimensional. And then like, you know, it looks like it's coming at you and it's this box. And so I was like, I don't,
They want to have a simpler practice, you
yeah,
know.
that's why I didn't put anything about Merge Cube on there. I left it pretty much, you know, like applicable type of things.
Yeah.
Hey, come here. Sorry, I have a dog.
Oh, can
She
you
lives in the
show
house.
the dog?
Yeah,
What's his name? What is name?
Hildy. Come here.
Kelly?
Hildy.
Oh, Hilly.
Hildy. Like Hildy.
Hildy. Oh,
Yeah.
that's cute.
Look,
He's so
Hildegard.
cute.
You're
Hello.
famous in Indonesia. She's like, I don't care about
I
that.
don't care.
So, but she just heard something in the other room, so she was about to bark.
So basically, in the beginning, I'm going to just ask you some question, and then I can
Mhm.
share also what happened in Indonesia, and then probably you can share later on your presentation, and we have some discussion. And I'll ask the teacher to like put their question in the chat box, so you can also read. Can you access the chat box?
Yeah, I have the chat box pulled up right
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask them to actively using okay, so actively using the chat box and post their comment or question there. And probably once a while I'll translate it in Bahasa Indonesia for a
Yeah.
bit, and yeah, just to make sure that the bridging is there. I
Well,
mean,
and
I don't want to lose some of the important information, so probably in some part I'm going to like uh, tell you, Amber, can I have a time to
oh,
translate it a
yeah.
bit?
No, I
Okay,
definitely understand that.
yes. So
I didn't even
what
spell
else?
stuff correctly.
Okay, do you do you want to share screen your own presentation, or you want me to do it?
I can self-screen it if you want
Mm.
because you'll notice that I hyperlinked a bunch in it.
Yes, yes,
Like if you
exactly.
want to go to that, and if I share my screen,
Mm-hmm.
um, in the back, I left up a bunch of open tabs so that it's actually easier to go in.
Yes, yes, yes.
For
Okay,
that
so you can,
that
yes, you
application
can
one.
just let me know when you want to
Mhm.
share screen, because I need to set that
Yeah, give me the powers.
yes, the power to share
The
screen,
powers.
you know.
Look, I'm just look. If I wish that we, you know, I already told you my district we don't use Zoom, so I'm just like boring backgrounds.
But do you how is it using Google Meet? I mean, I found sometimes ago I use Google Meet also for some of the meetings, and I have difficulties because I cannot record the
Yeah,
meeting.
you can record the meet.
Really?
Yeah, you can record the meet. There are some really cool things that they've
Mm-hmm.
added. So like
Mm-hmm.
when you have a meet with your class, there's a button that the kids can press that say raise hands.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So when they want to go ahead and tell you what's, you know, their answer, instead of
Mm-hmm.
just unmuting themselves, they raise their hands.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, okay.
Hey, all right, I'm so sorry. I'm going to close the door and keep her in here with me.
Give me a
I
minute,
can't hear you.
please, will you?
Okay, come here. Don't be a jerk, man.
Okay, I'm back.
No worries.
All right. So, wait, I'm going to say something about I'm going to ask you a bit about how do you usually engage your students before you come to your presentation about the technology and stuff.
Mhm.
So that's the bridging later on with, and then after you explain, and then I probably add some more about student engagement here in Indonesia, how we usually do it, and then you can start your presentation.
Well, I know how much you guys like PowerPoints.
Because it's powerful, Amber. Because it's
So
powerful, so we use PowerPoint a lot.
no, I was
No,
just
it
like
doesn't make sense. I know.
a PowerPoint for everything. No, it keeps me on track. It keeps everybody on track. Um, I like G Suites. I know we were talking about Google, like Google Meets. You can
Yeah.
record it.
So
Um,
your school is a Google school then, if you use G Suite
yeah, and
application.
I looked because I tried. I have like my school account and then I have my personal account.
Mm, mm,
And like there are a lot of things that you can't do without a school
mm,
account, but they're
mhm,
free.
mhm.
You just have to have your school register.
Oh, it's free? I mean, if it is school, then it's free. You mean like for the
Yeah,
G Suite?
I think it
Oh,
is.
you
I
think?
don't know. I don't have to make those choices. And know that it is free for me. I know that when I first started teaching,
You need to ask your administrator.
I do. I'll ask. Yeah, you know what? I'll email a principal right now.
You need to give us an actual information.
Well, it's I'm not important
No, no,
like
no, I'm
that.
just kidding.
They just give me the things and I get to use it. Because there are a lot of things that
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
know.
put on that list
Mm,
because I use so much technology. Then it's
mm-hmm.
always like, who would like this? And I'm like, that's me. I have the
So
grant for the.
you will be the first person to use it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm the one that's like, okay, here are my other questions, and they're like, you've had this a day, and I'm like, yes, I've tried it. Let's go.
Okay, okay.
Hold on, let me. I mean, you can do whatever, but I'm gonna. My friends, that's a principal. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go ahead and email her.
And ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we actually have some people in the waiting room, but I will wait until lots of them coming,
Mhm.
so I can admit everyone at once. So we still have time anyway.
And then you got the last presentation that I sent you, right?
Yes, I got it.
Because I
And
made
I
it
guess
in Google
it's
Slides.
you what?
I said I made it in Google Slides, and then I had to switch it over
And
to
you put it into and then you download it into.
Mhm.
I sometimes do that too. I put it in Google Slide and work it together with everyone and put it back in PowerPoint.
Well, I do that like a lot, and if I share it with other teachers, I'll share with them the PDF so that they can't make any changes.
Mm, okay. Have you got your dinner, Amber?
I have not eaten dinner yet. No.
Mm, you'll be fine.
Yeah, we're good. I have a water. If I eat right now, you notice that my dog is ridiculous. She would just be right here instead of
I
on
know.
her bed on the floor.
Where is he now?
Under my desk, I have a bed
Oh.
for her that's like this thick.
Mm,
So she's down there and I gave her a bone. So hopefully she'll be fine for a while.
okay. What else? Anything else that you'd like to probably would like me to ask you later for sharing for our discussion? I mean,
Well,
for the slide is great. I mean, you can show
yeah,
it later, right? the examples, like you said, the tabs and everything.
Yeah, like where you could
Mhm.
like, it can show you how like to
Yeah.
do Google, to do Common Lit. I gave a bunch of like high low things, like no
Mm-hmm.
matter where you're at. I gave you some examples. Like if you're high level, Khan Academy, Common Lit's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like if
Mm-hmm.
you're getting ready for like college, university.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kahoot, quizzes. That's good if you just want a real quick fact
Yeah, some
type
some
thing.
some of us are also using quizzes and Kahoot
Mhm.
actively also. But the one problem that what is it that makes us sometimes struggling with that is the connectivity. You know, in some part you see like sometimes you lose the connection, the internet connection and stuff.
No, I have kids that like they'll be on the meet and then they'll come back in. They'll be like, "I didn't mean to go away. The internet dropped me," and I'm like, "Baby, you're fine. You came
But so
back.
it's,
We're
I mean,
good."
it's also happens there. I mean, the lost connection.
Yeah, it does. And I live in a fairly big city. 55,000 people live
Hmm.
here, so it's not like I don't live in like a rural area,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and we have pretty good connection.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah,
But
no,
sometimes you lost
internet's
it.
a problem, especially like like the lower socioeconomic,
Mm.
people that can't afford certain internet. Our school is really lucky,
Mm-hmm.
um, because we have like little MiFi's, which are personal internets that we send home.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
if they don't have internet, they can get one of those from us, and
okay.
it works really well. And I also was texting the person in our district that's in charge of curriculum to see if G Suites was free. But
Mm.
it is 7 o'clock at night, so hopefully they will get back to me. I don't have my watch on, so hopefully they will get back to me and I will let you know. But I will definitely send an email later. Because when
Okay.
I looked, I really thought when I went to Google's website that they said
Mm-hmm.
G Suite was free. Your school just had to apply.
Right.
Don't
but
know if it's
but
like
you,
international.
I think because if you have the domain of the school, you know, like
Mhm.
it's not what is it, business domain. I think that's
Yeah,
why it's free. I mean, if it is in Indonesia, the domain of school is usually
it's
ended differently, right?
yeah.
I think your school have your own email address with
We
that
do.
domain. Am I right? Okay, that's what makes it free, I guess. And some of schools do not have that
There.
domain. Yes, their own domain system for an email. So maybe that's why they have difficulties in G Suite.
Yeah, I know that like even my personal Google account can
Mm.
do a lot of those same G Suite things, but not everything. Like I can make
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
can make
yeah.
a Google Classroom for my personal account, but I can't open up a Google Meeting.
Okay.
And like in my Google Classroom, do you use Google Classroom?
Yes, 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 yes.
So in Google Classroom, I can go ahead and hit a tab that says, sorry, Rebecca got back to me. She thinks the district had to purchase it.
He thinks what?
She thinks that the district had to purchase Google G
Oh,
Suite.
I see. So the school like freely use it then.
Oh, we use it for everything.
Yeah.
Like my professional email is like dcs.edu.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So it
mm-hmm.
goes through everything.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, got it. What else? Oh, I was actually asked you, do you still like keep in touch with everyone in TGC's Indonesia?
A lot of them.
Really? How are
Like
they?
I plan to go visit Nikki, but we can't go anywhere.
Where
Um,
is Nikki?
so she lives in near St. Louis in Missouri.
I mean, it's
No, but
how many hours from your
like
place?
4.5.
Oh,
Like
that's very
it's not
close.
that
That's pretty
bad. Like that's
close.
like
Yeah.
driving. Like 4.5 like
Mm,
driving. So it's
mm.
really not that bad. I thought about going down like Jessica, like a bunch of us had talked about going down to like the beach,
Yeah.
and seeing each other. So
But,
that'd be pretty centrally located for a lot of us.
uh-huh.
Jessica's in like Miami. I check on Pam sometimes because she was my partner, but we still have a WhatsApp group.
You
that
do?
will that will occasionally send each other messages and just see how everything's going on, or like send something from the news and be like, can you believe this? This is insane.
Did you follow news about Indonesia?
I have not read it as much lately, but I have seen a good bit. A lot,
Well, we
honestly.
know that you have a new president now.
Yes, but like I try to stay away a lot of American news right now too, because that's still it's still a
Well,
big thing.
same here, because I try to not read news about political things in Indonesia because it's just a mess. The same happens everywhere. All
So,
right. Okay, so we have some people in the meeting room. I'm going to play a video while waiting for others coming. Wait.
and question,
Yes.
it's 7:07 my time.
7:00 what?
It's
Yes.
7:07 my time.
My time is 8:07.
Okay, so I'm so glad that you emailed me earlier, because I thought we had time change. So I was thinking you were still 12 hours different from me.
Yes, you are 13 hours. I checked last night.
So when you were, because I didn't check, because I was like, yeah, it's 12
I
hours.
checked last night. I was like, when my friend asked me, oh, what time should I set the meeting time? Okay, wait, I have a feeling that it will be different. So I check it on Google, and then, wow, now it's 13 hours different.
I forgot
Oh my
about
God.
And so when I was like, wait a minute, we're still like an hour early. So glad you were the responsible one, because I didn't miss the number.
Yeah, it sometimes makes me confused, when you have those different
That we still
hour
change
in
even
1 year. I
even
mean,
though we live in a modern society and we're not saving gasoline for war. Yeah. It's actually snowing outside.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I miss the snow.
Oh my, do not.
Oh,
I'm so glad it's not gonna stick.
please, there's no snow in Indonesia. That's why I
That's
miss the snow.
It's one of the best parts. Warm.
It's a wonderful, wondrous
Like
snow.
I remember Bonnie telling me that it was gonna be like super hot in Indonesia, and so I packed a lot of things. Then I got there and I was like, it is hotter in Alabama right now. I could have worn like the thicker dress pants, bought all this linen.
Lots of you are having misconception about us here, right?
Well, Bonnie was there the year before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I went and asked somebody that was there doing the same thing we were, so that I packed correctly.
Oh my God. Okay. Yes, you do the right thing. It's just the weather is not right.
Hold on. Before you put everybody in, I'm going to take a picture to send it to the people.
Oh, yes, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Our WhatsApp.
All right. So I'm going to play the video and then put everyone in. Okay.
Sounds great.
And we'll wait until we have about 20 people or so, and then we start.
You're fine.
You're fine. We're just doing it just like usual. You and I go discuss something meaningful for a while.
I was like, I'm pretty chill.
You do. That's why I asked you.
So
okay. Okay.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Amber.
Good morning, selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi. Baik, Bapak Ibu, selamat datang di webinar kita pagi ini. Mohon bagi yang baru masuk untuk menuliskan daftar hadir. Ya, daftar hadir sudah saya masukkan di kolom chat, jadi silahkan diisi terlebih dahulu. Daftar hadir ini untuk memverifikasi nanti bahwa Bapak Ibu sudah mengikuti kegiatan kita hari ini. Oke, mohon konfirmasi jika daftar hadir sudah diisi ya. Jadi silahkan diklik link daftar hadirnya. Oke, wait a second.
Got nothing but time.
All right, so we have like about 15 people in our room today, Amber. We'll start. Okay. Okay, so thank you everyone for coming. Today we have Amber Dudley with us. Hi.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, and you are good morning, selamat pagi ya. And Amber will be having the presentation today and sharing with us on how she try to engage her students by using technology, and she will share her best practices in using the technology in her classroom. So before everything else, we'd like to know more about Amber. So time is yours, Amber, to tell us here, your Indonesian fellow teachers. And probably, yes. So please, Amber.
I am in Alabama in America, in the United States. It is currently 7:15 p.m. here. I was lucky enough, not this last summer because nobody's traveling right now, but the summer before that, to do a fellowship in Indonesia and be able to see some of the ways that you guys do things, the way that you teach, how your school structure works, to do some work in some of the schools there as well. I was located in Ambon, so I got really lucky. I think a lot of people were jealous of our placement. But I thought pretty much everywhere we went in Indonesia was beautiful. Everybody was insanely nice. It kind of made me realize how rude sometimes we are in America. I teach middle school, which is secondary in the United States. I'm certified to teach English and social studies. Sometimes I do both. Right now I teach American history.
You teach American history now?
American history.
Wow, okay.
But a lot of what we do in that is still literacy based. So I speak a lot of language in that, because much like how you guys have history and social sciences, you guys know, being English teachers, that if you're not able to read or interpret what you're reading, it doesn't matter what you're looking at.
Okay. Which part of Indonesia have you been to, Amber?
Well, we were in Jakarta.
Obviously.
So we stayed there for the first part. We were very spoiled. We had amazing chaperones that were able to give us the tour of a lot of places in the city. So really one of them. And then I was in Ambon for like 8 days.
In Ambon is like about 2 weeks? No, less than 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, about 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
I was in Indonesia altogether. So we started off in Jakarta, where we learned about the culture, and we were able to go to like the national monuments, and we were able to tour mosques and museums, and just really experience Indonesia, not like the touristy necessarily. I mean, we did, obviously, a lot of those are places tourists go.
It's all touristy places, if you remember.
So, but just that part of like more than just, maybe more so in Ambon, where we went to like a lot of local places and stuff as well, where you really experience the culture. And one of the reasons that I wanted that experience was because in America, in my
Hello, Amber. Okay, I think we'll lost the connection with Amber.
school, we have a lot of
Okay.
students that come from. Am I unfrozen now?
You were frozen a minute ago.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Now
this
you're good. Now
works.
you're good. Now, am I frozen now?
Okay. No, you were not. But when I could hear you, I couldn't. Like you were just a frozen
Right,
caricature of
right,
your
right. Okay,
face.
okay. Let me check my connection. It happens. See, it happens here. Okay, okay.
Look, I'm just happy that it's not. It could be mine.
Okay, you can
It could
continue.
be mine. We have a lot of students. We have a very diverse school, and
Mm-hmm.
so we had like last year I had people from 7 different countries in my class, and it's just a regular school. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
special school for immigrants that come in or anything. So just seeing like that struggle that people have attaining a different language than the one
Right,
that they grew
right.
up in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you also visit some schools when you are in Indonesia. So what you are
Yeah.
presenting today is probably also based on what we can do here also practically, right?
Yeah, well, and I visited some schools, and
Mm-hmm.
then at one of the universities when we were in Ambon, we did
Mm-hmm.
professional development with teachers that were there.
Mm-hmm.
And so we talked about the different technologies that we used and like what
Mm-hmm.
they use. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that what I chose is like you can use something.
Yeah, yeah. And as I discussed it with you earlier last time, that during the COVID things, everyone is like having the choices of technologies to be used in their classroom. How about in your school? I mean, how's the practice of teaching, like in the beginning of COVID and then now? Can you tell us a bit about it?
Yeah. I at the beginning of COVID, we went home for a weekend, and that weekend ended up being 3 months. So that part of we'll go home and we'll see how this works, and then it was and everybody's going to stay home. So it
Right.
was a lot of like learning on the fly. I
Mm-hmm.
always use a lot of technology in my class as well, so we didn't really have to adjust that much because they
Mm-hmm.
were used to doing everything through Google Classroom. They were used
Mm-hmm.
to being able to email me and have questions or get on a meet.
Mm-hmm.
So my biggest problem is the problem that I think everybody has across the world is student engagement. Getting them
Right.
to log on, getting them to work, and getting them to say something
Yes.
once they are logged on.
Yes, that's also happens here.
So that part of like, hello, Risky, would you like to comment? Would you like to unmute yourself? Are you still there? Um, and that is something that just on my way to school this morning, another teacher called me and was like, "What am I doing wrong?" And I'm like, "No, um,
Mm.
it's still so new."
Mm-hmm.
And in in America at our school, we have a lot of different things that we can do.
Yeah.
In It varies by school, it varies by district. My district
Mm-hmm.
has a lot of technology. Not everybody does.
Yeah, so you're
Some
lucky
people.
with your school, right?
I'm very lucky with that. I was telling
Mm.
Risky earlier that I just got a grant for a new green screen, so I'm gonna be able to make like some YouTube level videos, in my classes, like for my students, and my students are gonna be able to do that too.
Oh.
Um, right now, we're in a new school year,
Mm-hmm.
so we end in May, and then we have
Mm-hmm.
summer break, and we come
Mm-hmm.
back at the first part of August.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave us a little bit of time to plan more,
Mm-hmm.
to plan differently, exactly things that we're going to do. But I think you guys have probably found as well that as we're going, depending on your students, depending on what you're doing, it
Mm-hmm.
still varies in how you do stuff.
Right, right.
So,
And also, what is exactly the objective of the learning also, right? When we choose to
yeah.
use some of things, right? technologies
Well,
or activities to engage the students also.
well, and like before you pick out what technology you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
do, I always pick out what do I want the end goal to be? How am I gonna
Yes,
see? How
exactly.
am I
The
gonna
learning
see?
objectives.
How am I going to see like how the student attained that? How do I know
Mm-hmm.
that they attained that? How am I going to be able to, I would like judge them? Like how will I be able to critique?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and honestly, how am I going to make it fun for them?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that it's very different where you guys are, but I teach 6 classes a day for about an hour each,
Oh,
every
all
day,
right.
Monday through Friday. So it's that part of like, I need you to come every day. Um, I was telling Risky earlier that my school is very different in the fact that I
Mm-hmm.
teach 2 virtual classes first thing in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest of my classes are face to face. But
Mm-hmm.
in those face to face classes, I still have some people that are at home watching
Mm-hmm.
on the computer, filming.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And how do you manage that? I mean, it's not easy when you have your face to face, and then some students are still at home and stuff. So how do you
It,
manage
it
that?
it's difficult because I'm having some like I've got to dismiss students and we've got to monitor them, and then when they
Mm-hmm.
come in, I've got to get them started, and then I have to log into my Google Meet
Mm-hmm.
because we roll everything at my school through Google. So we do Google Meets, we don't do Zoom. Um, my in-person classes work like a little differently than my virtual classes.
Mm-hmm.
It's very synchronous, like everything's going on at that same time.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of videos that show how to do things.
Mm-hmm.
On the presentation that I gave you, I put Screencastify there because it's a
Mm-hmm.
way for you to record your screen, like what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing if you're walking through how to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Am I talking too fast?
Um,
Oh, yeah, a little.
yeah, yes. Maybe you
Um,
can tone down a little.
um, gosh, I talk so fast.
Okay, it's okay.
I
Take it easy. We're
I
fine. We're
use
good.
Screencastify because
Mm-hmm.
it's a way for me to record the steps going through my screen itself, and they can see exactly what I'm doing step by step, and then
Yep.
I can go back and like talk them through it.
Oh, and it makes everything easier. I mean, the students can also use that also, right?
Yeah, I put a lot of materials in my Google Classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they're in my room, some
Mm-hmm.
of them still go back and look at the video again, being like, okay, wait a minute, I know she showed us how to do this already,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to ask her because I've already asked her twice. So let me
Ah.
watch this video again, and then it'll refresh it because I don't like questions 3 times.
Hey, oh my, I have this things just coming up. Have you ever had when you have this Google Meet, or maybe, well, you don't not use Zoom, yeah, you use Google Meet, and when you call the students and then the students are not responding, what you're gonna do?
Well, in my classes, I'm known as a fairly strict teacher. I'm very chill as long as you do like comfortable, relaxed.
Mm-hmm,
As long as you do what I want. That pretty
mm-hmm,
much means you're working and you're paying attention and that you're doing what you need to do.
mm-hmm,
My students know that if I call your name and you don't respond to me, I mark you absent.
mm.
That if I don't, you don't need to ask permission to go to the bathroom or get a drink or whatever. Let me know if you've got to step away from your computer. But if
Yeah,
I
yeah.
ask you a question, if I call your name,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you should be able to answer me.
If they are not able to answer you, what are you going to do?
I mark them absent. Some teachers
Oh, okay.
some teachers will I know that we might be a little different in like attendance.
Mm-hmm,
Some teachers give quizzes based on what they've said during that.
mm-hmm,
I make it to where we'll have a lesson and then I
mm-hmm,
might give you the quiz and put the quiz link in the chat
mm-hmm.
so that you've got to pay attention to that part. um but to me everything depends on like situations, because I know that, like, for instance, one of my students has an autistic little brother.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so if she doesn't answer me,
Mm-hmm.
like I'll, email her and be like, hey, because we've already had that conversation about how sometimes she has to step away to take care of her sibling, but her
Mm-hmm.
grades are also really good. Not
Right.
just taking advantage of that. For tests and stuff, your screen has to be on. I've got to be able to see your face.
Okay. So that's like your rule of thumbs, right? When you're doing your classes, when
Mhm.
you're doing your classes, and the students agree with that because you told them in the beginning what is expected from your class.
Yes, ma'am. We send home a syllabus at the beginning of the year.
Yes,
Everybody,
ma'am.
it's a very Southern thing.
Right, right. Okay.
How we do. We send home a syllabus at the beginning that that student signs and their parent signs saying this is the expectation for the class. I understand that this is the expectation for the class, and I know
Mm-hmm.
that discipline can happen because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So with me, I- you've still got to be very, very aware, very cognizant that like I have students that have had corona. I've had students whose family members have passed away because of it.
Right, right.
I don't want to immediately, um, go at somebody when I don't know what's going on. I spend a
Mm-hmm.
lot of time in the beginning building a relationship with my
Mm-hmm.
students,
Mm-hmm.
so that I do understand those things that are going on, in their background. And I've some of the kids that I have, I've taught their siblings, I've taught their cousins. I mean,
Right.
they see me at soccer matches, football matches,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's that part of you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's the students' well-being that most important right now in this kind of
Yes,
situation.
ma'am.
It's not it's not only about how they are able to come to class, but some people are still struggling. Some students are struggling also coming to class because of what happened in their family right
Mhm.
now.
Well,
Yes.
and are you guys having a problem as well? Because like the mental welfare of our students is kind of a big deal here, where we're seeing
Uh,
struggle with depression and like mentioning suicide and stuff such as that. So it's really that still fine line of, you know, at the end, education is really important,
yeah.
but so
It
is your mental health.
Yeah, people start to notice about the well-being, students' well-being these days because everyone is at home. I mean, the students are still studying at home till today, and that makes everyone edgy. Like uh, the parents, the teachers, the students are having this difficulties in adjusting themselves in this kind of situation. So yeah, probably people are not really care about the mental health or well-being before, but now they start to see this, that this is important too. This is important too.
Well, I my most engaged lessons actually start where I always log on 10 minutes before our meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and the students are expected to log in 5 minutes before we start. And I generally have like a bell ringer up, but sometimes I start with just my face like this, and I just have a conversation with them. We just had
Mm.
Thanksgiving, so it's like, so how was your break? What'd you guys eat? Did you play any
Mm.
video games?
Mm-hmm.
My students play video games all of the time. I like video games too.
Mm-hmm.
Among Us is the big game here. So like I try to like engage them,
Mm-hmm.
and because I teach like 11 and 12-year olds, honestly, they want that fun, they want that silly, they want to be excited, and it's kind of easy to trick them into thinking history is fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. Okay, give me a minute to sum up what we are just talking about in bahasa, just in case some of us are not catching up with what we just said. Oke, jadi Bapak Ibu, saya dan Amber ini bertemu saat Amber berada di Jakarta beberapa 2 tahun yang lalu. Amber mengunjungi Indonesia dan tinggal di Ambon selama 1 minggu atau 2 minggu untuk kegiatan teacher exchange. Oleh sebab itu Amber mengerti beberapa bahasa Indonesia yang dasar. Nah, di sekolahnya Amber yang sekarang di Alabama, dia sekolahnya mempunyai fasilitas teknologi yang memadai tentu saja. Akan tetapi tetap saja ada beberapa siswa yang juga merasa kesulitan dan merasa bahwa masih perlu ada kegiatan tatap muka begitu. Jadi apa yang terjadi di sekolah Ember sekarang dan juga di sekolah kita itu saat ini itu juga sama saja dalam keadaan COVID seperti ini. Dia sempat juga mengajar di rumah, tapi sekarang situasinya ada yang tetap, jadi dia tetap berangkat ke sekolah dan ada beberapa siswa yang datang juga ke sekolah dan ada juga beberapa siswa yang masih belajar dari rumah. Jadi dan seperti kita ketahui bersama kasus di COVID di Amerika dan di Indonesia sama-sama masih meningkat begitu ya, sehingga kegiatan di sekolah pun juga masih belum full berada di sekolah. Nah, untuk melibatkan siswa dalam kegiatan belajar yang melibatkan yang virtual, Ember punya beberapa cara, artinya dia memberikan aturan main nih di awal. Jadi dia memberikan aturan main di awal bagaimana siswa pada saat harus masuk gitu ya, pada saat masuk menuju ruang meeting, dia menggunakan Google Meet, bagaimana kalau masuk ruang meeting itu dia sudah set bagaimana cara-caranya dan peraturannya itu seperti apa di awal. Jadi semuanya tahu dan masih ada permasalahan juga kadang-kadang dengan pada saat dipanggil tidak menjawab gitu ya. Kadang-kadang kan kita mendapatkan siswa yang seperti itu ya, bahwa dia dipanggil tidak jawab dan lain sebagainya. Nah, apa yang dia lakukan? Yang dia lakukan adalah selain juga sudah jelas aturan di awal dikasih tahu kalau kamu saya panggil dan kamu nggak jawab, berarti saya akan mark bahwa kamu tidak hadir begitu. Jadi sudah ada aturannya nih di awal begitu. Nah, oleh sebab itu siswa juga tidak merasa pada saat dipanggil dan tidak menjawab, dia harus menjawab gitu. Kalau tidak dia tidak akan dianggap ada di dalam ruangan tersebut. Nah, ini adalah praktek baik yang dia lakukan ya pada saat dia menyapa siswa dan sebagainya. Poin kedua yang kita bicarakan tadi adalah mengenai kesehatan, kita nggak bilang kesehatan mental ya, tapi bagaimana kita memastikan bahwa siswa kita itu merasa aman, merasa nyaman dalam kegiatan belajar bersama kita. Jadi dia memulainya dengan menanyakan kabar yang sederhana, gimana gitu, dan lebih kepada bagaimana kita mencari tahu apa yang terjadi dalam keluarga. Ya, jadi mencari tahu dalam keluarganya seperti apa. Kadang-kadang pelajarannya dia juga tidak melulu tentang apa yang harus menjadi materinya ya, tetapi lebih sering untuk mencari tahu, memberikan koneksi kepada dari dirinya dengan si siswanya. Seperti itu. So that will be the short summary of what we just talk about, Amber.
I hope you made me sound funnier and more intelligent.
Well, I make you sound smarter. You know, you like it, right? I make you sound smarter. Okay, so right, so we can, so we know how you start engaging your students when you are having your class, and I know some teachers are also doing the same thing like you do. They open their class with asking students what are they doing and then stuff, and probably I get your point that maybe we can use more time to ask them, right? More time to ask them, and maybe just for a while, just about them, not about us.
Yeah. Well, and not just about like the subject, sometimes like my screen is on for them. Like I've had to go to the library. So I'm like, hey, you guys are coming down the hall with me. And I'll flip my computer around and it's almost like they're there and they miss some of that stuff because they're in their houses. They're not going anywhere. They're not seeing people. So just, being able to walk down a hall for some of them is a big deal.
Right. Okay, so probably it's time for you put it into your presentation for practically what is it that we'd like to know more about your practice in your classroom, and probably we can also share. I know some teachers that may be doing the same thing as you do.
Yes, I would totally love to hear how you guys do things there. That's my West Coastness coming out with the totally. Are
Okay.
you ready for me to share my screen?
Yeah. Can you start sharing now?
Mm-hmm.
Can you do that? Or can I? Okay, wait. Let me. Okay.
I
You
should
can
have
try
just said
again.
that.
Can you
Yeah,
try
I
again?
should have just said that. I should have just let you
Do the
do the
presentation.
presentation.
No, you're good. We can wait. We can wait.
Okay, hold on.
You need help?
No,
Now
it was
it's coming. Yes, it's coming now.
okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, but it's a bunch of things in your screen, not only
A
the
bunch of things
presentation.
on my screen. Um, that shouldn't be great.
Yeah, I mean, like I see everything in your desktop.
That's great. Um,
Okay,
always a plus.
it's always a
Seeing
plus.
everything in my desktop. Okay, now do you just see the slides?
I see the slide, but I still see like the slide layout and stuff
Okay,
in
hold
the.
on. That's not. Hold on. I'm sorry. That's not what I see on mine.
Okay, you can try again.
See, if we were in Google Meet, I'd be okay.
So you blame Zoom now.
I am gonna. Yes, I'm going to. All right. Are we good to go now?
Yeah. But I can still see. Yes, now you're good. Now you're good. I see the presentation only.
Okay. A lot of this was just questions like in the beginning that I wanted you to think about.
Mm-hmm.
What works best for you? What works for me does not work for the teacher next to
Mm-hmm.
me. The teacher
Mm-hmm.
next to me puts up a screen for their meeting saying, this is exactly what I want. The expectations come in, turn your camera off, mute yourself, have your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that because I already set my norms up in the beginning, my
Mm-hmm.
expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't remind them every time they come into a meeting exactly what I want, because we are 3 weeks away from Christmas break. We're
Mm-hmm.
15 weeks into school. They already know.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes, depending on how much time we have, I'll put up like a jump off, a bell ringer, something that I want to tie into a previous discussion. But it's how I would run my regular class, my regular lesson cycle.
Mm.
I always show my face to students, even when I'm at home. I show my face to students
Mm-hmm.
because it gives them that personal part. And honestly, if I let them know that I want to see their faces because
Mm-hmm.
I miss them or I'm excited, they'll turn their screens on. I don't require that because not all of our students have really good Wi-Fi. And
Okay.
so
So
if
some students can just turn off their camera when having their class with
as
you.
long as as long as they'll unmute themselves to answer questions, and as long as they talk in the chat.
Oh, okay.
So I don't make them have their camera on as long as they are a part of what we're doing.
I see.
Um,
Okay.
and
Uh,
so, sorry.
yeah. So sorry. I have some question about this. Post you post a jumping off activity.
Mhm.
Can you give me an example of that?
I can.
Of
I put it in the
You should.
presentation.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to go down to the Google drawing that I made.
Mm-hmm.
On the left is a jumping off activity where it's the maps of Europe for World War I and World War II.
Mm-hmm.
This is very specific to the content that we're doing. And I have
Okay.
questions. So they're automatically thinking, what's the differences between the two maps?
Mm-hmm.
What does that have to do with World War I? How did it change?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes their activity is based around just a written quick write question.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll play a small video.
Okay.
Today's jump off activity, we're going into the 1920s. And so
Mm.
it was make a prediction and support that with answers from information that you already know.
Mm-hmm.
I try to change my jump off activity, what I'm expecting from them every day, so that there's an activity for them to do, but maybe they're looking at a picture. Maybe they're looking at a visual image and they're having to break it down. Maybe they're making a newspaper headline. It depends on if I'm introducing information or if I'm reviewing information
Mm-hmm.
from previous information. It depends on the level of ability that my class has. Maybe I want to reinforce vocabulary.
Mm.
And so I'll give them a picture and say the picture is about this. How do
Mm-hmm.
you know that? Give me evidence that from this picture and your background knowledge that shows your understanding and your making of the connections. I teach very conceptually, meaning everything that we do builds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about just knowing an answer. You have to be able to explain to me how that connects to other things and be able to go deeper with that.
Okay. So how many minutes do you usually spend for this jumping out activity? Because as
Well,
I catch it, it's the beginning only, right?
yes. In America, we call them bell ringers because we have
Mm.
bells that start our classes.
Okay.
So it's really easy. You come in, you sit down, and you start getting to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the bell rings, you should be done with this. You should be able to sit
Oh.
down. So you have about 4 minutes. We have
So
4 minutes.
it's actually pretty short time, you know. It's
Yeah.
actually pretty the windows of time is actually pretty short.
Yes. Well, there are 3 questions with this, but if you know the material and you understand what's going on, the
Mm-hmm.
fastest it's going to take you is writing down all that you know before you go on to
Right.
that next part. And then when I start my class, we're having a discussion about it. So, your
Mm.
hand better be going up. You better be able to see. I'm in person, move around my class to see what they've written.
Mm-hmm.
We have something that's not free, but it's called Go Guardian. So I can actually see all of their screens.
Ah, I see. So
So
that's if you are having a virtual class for the bell
yeah,
ringer style. Okay.
so I can see what they're typing. They don't
Right,
have to
right,
share.
right.
I can see it automatically. And so that works really well for us, but I didn't include it in this presentation because we pay a lot of money for it. So I can't be like, this is great, use it.
I
Um,
don't have a lot of money. I cannot use it.
I don't have a lot of money either. You see my bare wall. Um, but
Okay.
the district that I teach in has purchased that for us. So even when they're at home, because
Mm-hmm,
we have
mm-hmm.
they have school emails.
Mm,
So even when they're at home, when they're logged in for this, I can see the tabs that they have on their computer. I
right,
can see the work that they're doing it in real time. So
right,
it's that
right,
part of like, I know you're not working. I can see your screen.
right. And
So
that's
when I
very comfortable to use then.
It is. So when I say I don't need to see your face, I don't, because I can see your screen. So I know if you're working. I know like where you're at.
That's why
And
you say that.
yeah, it's why like I don't need to see your face. I can see if you are typing. I can see if you're following along. Um, that part. And
Yeah, but
so
do you think we can also use that if I mean use the same concept like
mhm,
I can see what you're doing when we use
mhm.
like a Google Docs
Yeah,
online, right? Google Slides
you,
and online, and we can see
you
what they are doing.
yeah, that's what I like about Google Docs, Google Drawing, Google Form. You can see what they're doing as they're doing it, and they can share it amongst themselves. So you can have multiple students working on the same document if you want them to work them in groups. Same thing with, I'm a big fan of Google Drawing. It's a
Mm.
way that they can put images and links,
Mm-hmm.
and they can work together.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I really like about Go Guardian is that I can see all of the other tabs you have open too. So
Yes.
even if they're on a device and they've split their screen,
Mm-hmm.
and like in one part they have like the document that they're working on, and the other part they're trying to watch a YouTube video, I can
Mm-hmm.
still see your YouTube video and I can close it.
Right, right, right. So it's interesting because some of what that you share here in starting the class, we can also use it to, you know, when we are having a face-to-face classes, we can use that also, like the bell ringer activity, right? We can use it when we meet the students on
Well,
in the classroom.
it's part of our regular lesson cycle, that before,
Yeah,
during, after strategy of having that, that start where everything's tied
yeah.
in together. This that I switched to is an example of what some teachers put up.
Mm-hmm.
They have this as the screen when their students come into their meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that reminder of make sure your device is charged, make sure that you're, they'll sometimes they'll put like make sure you're in a quiet environment so that you can pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
um I know that I did a meeting with Dewi for one of her classes, and you know I was just happy people came, but like there were like some kids were like outside, and there were like cars passing near
Mm-hmm.
them and stuff, and so it's that part of making sure that you're able to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and everyone in the meeting room is knowing this, yeah, knowing this, and then they will do that exactly like you said.
well, and you may get on to a presentation and you might forget to mute yourself, and so when
Yes.
you see this, like, okay, wait a minute, definitely a
Right, 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 right. It happens, and it's not only the students. Sometimes just
no, I would.
yeah.
You, like, people
Mm.
have children. You heard my dog earlier. I'm glad she's taking a nap now. It's that part of like, that part happens at school. I might have the principal come into my room.
Mm.
I'm gonna want to mute myself, like, because maybe whatever they're gonna say, a student doesn't need to hear.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
That's
just
true.
having those norms, at least in the beginning of this is how it's gonna be, those first couple of meetings of here's that expectation,
Mm-hmm.
here's what we're gonna do. I keep it pretty simple.
Yeah.
You can go into like a lot of stuff with kids. The big part, be respectful, because if you're being respectful, if you're being, letting somebody talk, to me that says a lot. I don't have to be
Mm-hmm.
like respect is all of these
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Agree. Okay,
Um,
can you give me a bit of time to explain
yes.
the first two slides? Right, jadi Bapak Ibu di slide yang pertama dan kedua tadi, Amber menceritakan best practice-nya pada saat kelas berlangsung, dan apa yang di-sharingkan oleh Amber tadi pada saat menjelaskan bagaimana dia memulai kelasnya, seperti ada aktivitas tersendiri selama 5 menit pertama. Begitu, itu juga bisa dilakukan saat kita ingin melibatkan siswa ya, students engagement dalam kegiatan aktivitas kita gitu. Aktivitas yang kita lakukan di dalam kelas maupun kelas yang sesungguhnya dan ataupun kelas yang secara daring. Nah, jadi itu hal-hal yang dia lakukan di awal, ada aktivitas, dan jika itu secara daring, maka yang dia lakukan adalah memastikan bahwa wajahnya terlihat di dalam layar. Jadi wajahnya terlihat di dalam layar. Mengapa seperti itu? Karena dia ingin memastikan bahwa siswanya juga bisa melihat dia gitu ya. Meskipun dia tidak mewajibkan siswanya untuk juga menyalakan kameranya, karena tidak semua mungkin memiliki gadget yang memadai dengan hal tersebut. Nah, yang membedakan dengan kita pada saat dia tidak mengharuskan siswanya menggunakan kamera, tetapi dia bisa memonitor apa yang dikerjakan oleh siswanya. Ada satu aplikasi yang dia gunakan di sekolah ya, dan dia bisa memakai aplikasi tersebut untuk melihat apa yang dikerjakan oleh siswanya di screen masing-masing. Nah, sayangnya aplikasi ini berbayar ya, sehingga dia juga tidak men-sharingkan kepada kita begitu bagaimana menggunakan aplikasi ini, karena dia tahu bahwa ini berbayar dan tidak bisa secara secara mudah kita dapatkan begitu. Nah, itu sih yang tadi, dan dia sangat suka menggunakan Google Drawing. Jadi beberapa aktivitas yang dilakukan di awal, dia gunakan Google Drawing untuk memastikan bahwa siswanya terlibat gitu dalam segala hal yang dia lakukan di dalam kelasnya, baik itu secara virtual maupun secara kelas gitu. Alright, so you can go on, Amber.
Okay, thank you. I told you earlier, I don't think I did, the way my completely virtual classes run a little bit differently than my in-person classes. With my virtual students, I don't meet with them every day because I can see their work, as we're going.
Yeah.
And so we'll do our jump off activity. We'll have our regular direct instruction, and then I release them to work and I monitor their work for the rest of our time for that. Just because for the most part, if you're completely virtual, and you still are, you've obviously got to be making good grades to have that ability to stay that way in our system.
Okay. Yeah.
With this, it just goes with what your expectation, like your schools are. I know in America, it's very different, like from system to system and state to state. Some schools want you to be completely asynchronous, meaning that no live instruction goes on, that everything has to be recorded, that students can do things at whatever pace they have.
Yeah.
Some schools are completely synchronous, meaning the teacher is in front of it, you're there the whole hour. If you are late, they are taking like your docked points. And so it varies differently. Something that is different that maybe you guys don't know is that I know that in Indonesia, you guys have one curriculum that goes across for everybody.
That goes across for everyone.
And we don't. Like I get to decide what I'm talking about in my class tomorrow. I don't give lesson plans at the very beginning. We do weekly lesson plans. And so just in instructional styles for countries, we're very different that way. There's a lot of, depending on the school you are at, there is a lot of free reign in what you're doing. And so I am lucky that I get to decide the types of activities that we are using, and that I can go back and forth between being asynchronous and synchronous. So at the same time, like together and separate.
Yeah, so you can go back with the asynchronous and synchronous at the same time. But I agree that some schools here also use the synchronous all the time, like expecting everyone to be in front of the screen. Like for example, I know this because my nephew and my niece is having this kind of class, like they have to be in front of the screen from like 8 until 12, with different kind of subjects. Different kind of subject, and they have to log in and then having this math class for 30 minutes, and then log into another Zoom meeting and then having this English class, and then another one and then another one until it's 12. And after 12, they still have like these assignments that they have to submit. So everyone in the family, like not only my niece and nephew that's go to school, that's also my cousins,
Yeah.
And does it also happens there, Amber, like in
it
some
does.
of your
Before we just
colleagues, maybe?
Well, we just had Thanksgiving break. So my school was off for a week. And before that, the coronavirus numbers in our area got really high. Because they are in our country right now. And so we went completely virtual for 2 days. So nobody was on campus. And so when we do that, we go to that same type of schedule where we shorten our classes. We're in class for about 30 minutes. So 30 minutes of direct instruction. They go through their 7 periods in the day because that's how many classes they have.
Wow.
So we start school at around 8:30. And then we end school at 3:30. And so they go through all 7 of their classes. And then in the afternoon, we have virtual office hours in case they need to ask questions and all of that. And then that's when they're working on other assignments. So we do things similar to that. On days we go 100% virtual.
Oh, okay. So it's also it's also happens, right, over
Yes,
there.
yes, Risky, it does. I was gonna call you ma'am again.
And I mean, do people have difficulties on doing that? Or do you get any, calls from parents or the students itself that say that
Uh,
I mind this kind of class. I don't want to be in this kind of class and so forth.
well, when we go 100% virtual, they don't have that option.
Mm,
My system's very different in that we gave them 3 options. You can be in person, you could be at in-person classes, but virtual, or you could be 100% virtual.
mm,
Not all school systems gave 3 options. It's a lot of work,
mm.
because I teach all 3 of those options, and not everybody
Oh,
does. Not everybody has virtual
wow.
classes in the morning. And so in the beginning of the year, I started off with like 160 students.
Mm,
And so my numbers have come down.
mm-hmm,
Some parents, depending, like in any system,
mm-hmm.
aren't happy. You could close school because of rising coronavirus numbers, and some parents would not be happy that they weren't closed sooner. Some parents would be unhappy that they're closing at all. I think it's just the nature of at least Americans, if not humans, to not 100% be happy with things.
Right,
It
okay.
could be the same everywhere.
It's the
Um,
same everywhere, not only Americans.
I can speak for me. I can't say all teachers
Yes,
in
yeah.
all places.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
that part.
Yes, yes, yes. So you have in-person class, you have 100% virtual, and also you have in-person but virtual.
Yes.
That. Yeah, I agree when you said that's a lot of work. It is. I mean, I can imagine how can you divide yourself in doing like this part is the in-person class, this part is the virtual one, this part is in-person but virtual.
It's a good thing that my attention span is really small, because it actually helps me be able to bounce back and forth with a lot of things. I'm able
Mm,
to bounce to my computer and see what questions people have there. I have 2 screens in my room. I have my regular desktop that stays at school, and then I bring a laptop so
mm,
that I can see both, like, 2 things.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I know
Yeah,
that it's not. I'm even in my school. I'm very lucky that I can do that. But it's a choice to use that personal device.
right. Okay.
Um,
Let me translate it. Sorry.
you're fine.
Jadi selama kegiatan di sekolah akhir-akhir ini, si Ember punya beberapa sekolahnya Ember menawarkan beberapa pilihan untuk siswa. Jadi tidak semuanya 100% daring gitu ya. Jadi beberapa pilihan siswanya adalah boleh 100% daring, boleh datang ke sekolah, dan boleh datang ke sekolah tetapi daring gitu. Jadi ada beberapa pilihan. Dan kebetulan Ember memilih kelas. Jadi ada beberapa kelas yang anaknya memilih 3 ini begitu. Ada beberapa anak yang dalam 3 kelompok, terbagi dalam 3 kelompok. Jadi memang bebannya jadi semakin berat. Dan itu saya pikir sama dengan apa yang kita alami juga di sini ya. Beberapa sekolah memberikan pilihan bahwa siswa boleh datang dengan protokol kesehatan tentunya, dan ada juga yang memilih untuk 100% ada di rumahnya, dan praktek ini juga sama-sama dilakukan. Dan apa yang dilakukan Amber, dia juga mengadakan kelasnya di sekolah gitu, sehingga bisa memudahkan dia dalam prakteknya. Okay, you can go on, ma'am.
Okay. The next part, I put more applicable, more application type things, because I honestly hate talking all the time. In my classes, I talk maybe 15, 20 minutes. And then we're in the creation structure. They're writing, they're creating,
Mm-hmm.
they're exploring, they're working. And so when I was in Ambon in the Moluccas,
Mm.
when I presented on technology, the thing that I found everybody most curious about was Google Classroom. I
Right.
filter everything through that. With Google, excuse me, even with personal accounts, like, there's Google Documents that they can work on together. There's
Mm-hmm.
Google Drawing where they can do visual elements. There's Google
Mm-hmm.
Forms where you can give them a test.
Mm-hmm.
My tests are actually filtered through Google Forms.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many different things that you can do with that. And the best thing about Google is that as soon as they start working, it automatically saves to their drive.
Yes, and we can like use it and we can take a look at it every time, anytime, everywhere.
And it's timestamped. So they can be like,
Yes.
oh, I did this yesterday, but it's not here anymore. And so you can be like, all right, let me pull down your version history, and I can see what you did
Exactly.
yesterday.
So there's no excuses, right?
And it's a way like it holds them accountable. You use Google Classroom. When they turn stuff in, it shows the time when they turn it in.
Yeah.
Once they submit it on Google Classroom, they can't make any changes to their submission without pulling it back.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a way to, if they tell their parent they did something, it's great when I'm like, okay, well, have them pull up their Google Classroom for you. Go to the document. Here's the version history.
Mm-hmm.
And generally at the end of the conversation, their parents like, okay, thank you. I will take care of this. It will be turned in. Because
that's how we solve the problem with the parents. Yeah, just show it.
Yeah, well, and it's that part of like, I want to be accessible. I love talking to parents. I love, especially with technology, students use a lot more technology than a lot of their parents do.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll be like, no, I did it. And in Google Classroom, sometimes they'll just hit submit without doing any work. And so you can be like, here's what you submitted and why you got a 0.
Okay.
But Google, I'm checking. Risky already asked me earlier. We have G Suite tied to our email. We have school emails. I thought it was free, but I checked with some people that work in our district, and they said they think that we pay for it. But I'm going to get to the bottom of it and tell her for sure.
Okay.
Everything in here is hyperlinked, so I actually put up an example of a Google Classroom, but I think we're running short on time.
It's okay. We can still have some minutes.
Okay. Do you want me to?
Yeah, sure. Yep. Please, ma'am.
I should actually just show you one of my real Google Classrooms instead of this fake
one.
Yeah,
sure.
Anything in it.
You can show us your Google Classroom probably, and I still see the presentation.
Okay.
Jadi Amber akan memperlihatkan beberapa prakteknya pada saat dia menggunakan Google Classroom, salah satu yang dia sering sekali pakai begitu. Dan saya yakin teman-teman di sini juga, oh it's suddenly black out in my place. Okay.
On your phone or check anything? Last time I was there was a blackout.
Yeah, why it suddenly black out? Okay, so saya yakin Bapak Ibu juga ada beberapa yang berada di ruangan ini secara rutin menggunakan Google Classroom. Maka ini sebenarnya hanya berbaginya Amber ya, bahwa dia juga menggunakan Google Classroom secara rutin begitu. Nah, mungkin Bapak Ibu juga bisa menuliskan di kolom chat apakah Bapak Ibu secara rutin menggunakan Google Classroom dan bagaimana, apakah mendapat kesulitan gitu, apakah kesulitan yang dihadapi saat menggunakan Google Classroom atau teknologi yang lainnya, silahkan dituliskan di kolom chat. Dan tentu saja supaya Amber juga bisa langsung menjawab dan merespon dari pertanyaan Bapak Ibu, silahkan bisa menuliskan dalam bahasa Inggris, dan jika kesulitan bisa menuliskan dalam bahasa Indonesia, saya akan bantu untuk nanti menanyakannya kepada Amber. Jadi silakan diceritakan selama ini pengalaman atau kesulitan apa sih untuk melibatkan siswa ya dalam kegiatan yang berbasis teknologi, atau apakah Bapak Ibu punya beberapa hal yang ingin dibagikan pada saat menggunakan yang saat ini sedang kita diskusikan adalah Google Classroom. Jadi silakan sharingkan apa saja yang Bapak Ibu ingin tanyakan atau ingin sharingkan kepada kami, saya dan Amber. Jadi kita berdua tahu Bapak Ibu juga melakukan hal yang sama begitu di sekolah, atau malah ada hal yang berbeda yang dilakukan begitu. Jadi silahkan dituliskan di kolom chat. Kita gunakan kolom chat ini seaktif mungkin, dan kita gunakan kehadiran Amber di sini supaya kita juga bisa lebih tahu lebih banyak begitu tentang apa praktek dia yang ada di sekolah. Okay, please go on. I just explain it to them on your practical in using Google Classroom, and also some of them are probably using Google Classroom also in their school, and I asked them to write it down in the chat box. Yes, I asked them if they have the same experience, or if they have difficulties in using some application or others to engage students, and some other similar issue, then they can write it down in the chat box. And so we'll see if we have some of their response about this.
Well, technology can be pretty glitchy sometimes, regardless of where you are. We do all of our attendance and grades online. And 7th period, I couldn't take attendance for half an hour because the site was down.
Okay.
I can't show you my classrooms that have students in them because of American privacy laws.
Oh yeah, I know.
But I do have one that I filter stuff through to share to the 2 other social studies teachers in my department. So this is just a basic Google Classroom where everything is in the stream. You can assign your classwork by going here, where you can create assignments, you can give them a quiz, you can make material. If you use something in all of your classes, you can reuse the post. You can invite people here. You can invite multiple teachers. I actually put the link so people can come here. So Risky, if you want, I can go ahead and throw some stuff up here later that's more practice type stuff. And some of the videos that I use, show like Screencastify and the application of the technology that I use. Because I told you earlier, I'm better with the showing you the really cool, fun things.
Yeah, sure.
Exciting.
Yeah, you should show us the really cool, fun things.
And you could do grades and stuff here. So when I come to the side, if I'm here, you can see all of my classes that go through.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It is a lot. This is the example class that I use for the other teachers.
Oh,
so there are students here, so I can show you stuff here and it's not going to matter. The stream is when I post, other parts. Their assignments are here. The Google Meets here, I close it when I'm not there because I don't want them in a and so it's not visible to them unless I make it visible to them.
So you can actually set the time for that.
They don't have it on a timer. You have to go into settings and the picture taking up that part and just make it where they can't see it, and you can regenerate stuff, and it's very difficult. With the grades, you can see my personal account is what is tabbed to this, so don't think that I'm a horrible student. I do this so that I can see when I'm sending stuff out what they see. Because the teacher view in a lot of these is very different. And so I don't want to say, no, I know you can see it, it's right here. And then in the student view, them not be able to see that. So everything that I send out, I can look at it as the student through my personal email account.
Okay, interesting.
I do it that way as well. And so like right now you see the web quest activity that we're doing. It takes you to the instructions, the assignment itself. You can see they're doing a virtual trading card activity where we are not allowed to touch paper. So everything we create has to be turned in virtually. Even if they draw it, they still have to take a picture of it and turn it in virtually. Are you guys doing that same thing?
No, we can still use the paper, and then what is it? Snapshot it, and then upload it into the Google Drive or something. Some teachers are using that method, You take a picture on the and then you upload it into maybe the Google Drive or to the WhatsApp or stuff. Okay. We have some questions in the chat box, Amber. Are you going to, do we have time to discuss this? Or
Yeah, I told you my time is your time. I thought that we were 12 hours different and not 13. I know you guys have classes and I've been busy
we have
all
13 hours different. Yeah. Okay.
so.
So the first question from Anik Effie, how to improve students' engagement in following our Google Classroom while in fact we cannot meet them face to face?
I try to choose things that they like. We one of the biggest video games right now in America is a game called Among Us. I don't know if they
Ah,
do it there.
it's
Probably
hyped here too.
see. And
Mhm.
so one of the applications that I use is called Gimkit. It's like a Kahoot. It's like a quizzes, and they have this week an Among Us version.
Mm.
So it's that part where like I'm gonna test you. I'm gonna look at the data. I'm gonna see how you're doing on this, and you think you're playing a game,
Mhm.
and I get to see how much you know right now. Because I use Gimkit the most, but I have the paid version, so I can see all of the data and I can see the percentage of questions that they got correct. I can
Mm.
see, the actual data that you can break down to see like, are they just rushing through this?
Mm.
Um, I tried to make like slides that they're making, not just regular slides. I gave them a part where they had to make like fake Instagram accounts on slides, not in Instagram,
Mm.
about historical figures. So they had to choose like a historical figure, and then if they had like Teddy Roosevelt, who was an
Mm.
American president, um, what pictures would they choose?
Mm.
With EL students, and this will translate for your English classes. Research shows that if you chunk it up, like if they write things in hashtags, it's showing in a smaller amount of words their understanding of bigger concepts.
Okay. So basically, you create an activity that interests them. You use the media that interests them more, so that you can follow up your Google, your any activities that you put in Google Classroom, and make them like, this is how you do it, and you do it with fun by
Yeah.
choosing. So you have to keep on knowing what's trends now. Then
Well, the teacher next to me, she does like TikTok stuff, and I'm not a big TikTok
really.
person. Yeah.
So
I'm not a
you're
big
not doing
TikTok
TikTok,
person.
any activities with TikTok, or?
I mean, I follow teachers on TikTok, so I can see some of the things that they're doing and switch that to me.
Okay.
I'm more of I do like a lot of like movie trailer type stuff.
Okay. Movie
Um,
trailer. Oh, like book trailer things.
yeah, they can do book trailer things. We have
Mm.
to do welcome videos at the beginning of the year. So mine was a movie trailer, like a superhero type movie trailer
Mm-hmm.
that goes with that. There are a lot of like POW tunes. I'll write it
Mm-hmm.
right here in the chat. POW tunes is something easy to use that goes with that. It's animated. You can add voice to it.
Mm-hmm.
I use Apple. So like your cell phone can make movie trailers and videos.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
Even before this, we would have a film festival in my classes where they had to make movie trailers about books or events, and they had to write scripts and pull that stuff in. And so engagement is the biggest piece, because you could be sitting in my class and be not paying attention. You could be really bored. And
Mm-hmm.
so regardless of if you're at home with a million more like distractions, you know, you guys are entertainers. You have to convince them that they want to spend time with you. Um,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, a lot of these people right now don't care about that end of the year test. They don't care about, they don't really think they're going to fail. They think that they'll
Mm.
just go on to the next grade. Um, so it's got to like, it's got to be that engagement. I call it fun, but that's not really a very academic, the academic way of thinking. But I, when you sit in a professional development, if you're just listening to somebody talk, it's really boring. But if you're
Yeah, so
making,
you have to make it fun,
mhm,
and if we put it in the context of our students, then fun for them is something that trends now.
yeah. So there are teachers in America that gamify their classes. So like everything's
Mm.
almost like a game. I do a lot of technology. So I have a green screen. that I just got a grant for. But after I use it, they're going to use it as part of a project too. I just have to
Mm.
work out how that's going to work before I give it to them.
Oh, oke. Alright, so jadi semoga itu tadi menjawab pertanyaan dari Miss Anik Evi ya, bahwa untuk meningkatkan keterlibatan siswa dalam kegiatan yang kita lakukan di Google Classroom, maka kita bisa menambahkan beberapa aktivitas yang sedang trending saat ini. Karena siswa kita itu umurnya masih sangat muda ya, jadi dengan melibatkan diri kita pada hal-hal yang mereka sukai, itu bisa menjadi salah satu teknik yang kita bisa pakai untuk melibatkan mereka dalam membuat mereka tertarik. Kalau Ember tadi bilang kita jadi entertainer ya, entertainer untuk siswa kita juga gitu kadang-kadang. Meskipun itu tidak terlalu terdengar terlalu akademis, tetapi kadang-kadang kita perlu melakukannya supaya siswa kita itu masih bisa fokus kepada apa yang kita lakukan. Okay. There's a second question, Amber.
I really like the part that somebody in the chat said that they use WhatsApp when they're
Yes.
not able to use. I mean, it's that
Yes.
part of you're still communicating with your students. They're still communicating with each other. They text all the time. And so a lot of people would be more comfortable using that, really fast, of being able to think and put that in. So I really like your using WhatsApp
Yeah.
as that problem solver, because technology is not going to work all of the time.
Yeah, and another person is saying that she used Google Classroom, but cannot encourage the students to be active. So some of them are not doing the task and not seeming interested to join the Google Meet or the Zoom meeting.
Same.
You have
I mean, if I had that, I'd be selling books right
you have the
now.
same problem.
I every teacher that I have talked to, regardless of where they teach, is not having necessarily widespread, but everybody has that problem right now with students. A problem that I have with students is also deadlines. They think because they're
Right.
home that it's just, they can have however long to take care of something. Engagement with everything that's going on. I know that you and I discussed this earlier. With kids, it's hard for them to see the value in school. Education is something that we really appreciate more as we get older. And so YouTube, that's fun. Video games, that's fun. TikTok, that's fun. So when we can bring those things back in and make it engaging and make it fun. Can you hear me well? Because the speaker sounds weird.
Oh, wait. The last bit that you said about TikTok thingy?
Yeah. We do a lot of writing in my class. We do a lot of research in my class. We do a lot of annotations in my class. So it's not just here I'm juggling and watch my YouTube video that I put out. But I intersperse those activities with, here's the fun thing that you can look forward to. Here's all of the, you need to know how to write a research paper. So we're going to do this so that you have that background knowledge, because you can't make a movie trailer if you don't know what you're talking about.
Right. So still the same, yeah. That the students need to know what's the learning objective for, so they can enjoy your classes, anything that you throw in the classes.
And it's simplistic, but before I actually start teaching my classes, my first week of school, I know that you guys have a week where they get to used to like the norms.
Yeah.
Before you start, I do the same thing here, but it's less about getting used to the way that I do things and more about us developing a relationship. So because I know them, I know what they like. I'm able to bring that into our conversations. I'm able to bring that into the topic. Last year, I had a girl that was from Micronesia. So when we're talking about like World War II, I was able to bring like her home, her homeland into that. So it's making our activities personal to them. And then especially with another language, I mean, they can show that application for English in so many different ways. with what they're creating and what they're making. When I teach English, I like using sculptures, although that requires touching things, and we can't use any communal properties now.
Okay. All right. Thank you for answering some of the teacher's question. But we have some response again in the chat box. Can you see that, Amber?
Yeah. What do they find that is working really well with their students? Like getting them to work as I'm reading. Oh, I'm too old for TikTok videos too. I do not TikTok. That is a young people game. I don't mind making a fool of myself for students,
I
but
agree with you. I'm
I'm
also
not
too old for TikTok, so that's why I'm not using TikTok. I stopped in Instagram.
well, I mean, like,
That's like the highest things that I'm doing
well, I can
in
share
social media.
I can share the Instagram slides where it gives that frame
Oh
and the
yeah, yeah.
instructions that go with you. I got that from another teacher. Teachers should always share with everybody.
Yeah,
Um,
sure. That will be great.
I did have a problem in the beginning of a couple of students would be there for the role. And
Mm.
then I ask questions as we go. Sometimes I give, we'll do some of the work together. And then
Mm.
at the end, my students always have to say goodbye to me. And so
Oh,
I say
okay.
goodbye to them in different languages. So I'll be like,
Mm.
arrivederci, ciao. You know, um, I'll just switch it and like just constantly they'll say goodbye to me. And they like the fact that I keep switching out languages. So for like each goodbye, I switch a language. It might be like da, it might be sayonara.
Mm.
It's just that part of, Guten Morgen, which is German. So they get really excited about that part to see what I'm gonna say to them. And it's also that part of you don't know when I'm ending my meeting. It might be
Yeah.
17 minutes, it might be 15 minutes. I started exactly at a specific time,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't end it at a specific time.
Oh, so you like randomly pick up
Yeah,
a specific time to end it, and then your
yeah,
students knows the rules that at the end of the discussion you need to say goodbye to you.
yeah. And so, like, I don't write it in the chat, I say it out loud. So if you've muted me, because they will do that too, they will put it where they're there, they will mute you. Um, they know that part. And
Ah,
so here we do attendance, and it's a pretty big thing. And so
mm-hmm.
if you're not with me,
Ya,
pass.
ya, ya. That's a interesting things ya. Jadi tadi Ember cerita bahwa eh untuk mengatasi ya, sudah di absen, habis gitu dia hilang begitu ya, kadang-kadang sudah di absen, "Oh saya sudah absen nih," habis gitu hilang, jadi datang cuma untuk di absen aja. Yang Ember bilang adalah salah satu caranya, dia selalu memulai, meeting di saat yang sama, di waktu yang sudah ditentukan, tapi, mengakhirinya bisa random, jadi bisa saja, meeting hanya berlangsung 15 menit, bisa saja berlangsung 20 menit. Siswa nggak akan tahu. Nah, aturan pertamanya dia adalah bahwa siswa harus mengucapkan apa ya, salam di akhir. Jadi harus mengucapkan salam di akhir dan mengucapkan salam di akhir itu, mereka harus mengucapkannya ya. Jadi, mereka harus tahu gitu kapan. Makanya nggak bisa tiba-tiba hilang begitu aja. Jadi salah satu caranya adalah, membuat membuat aturan itu dan aturan itu diketahui oleh semua anak yang ada di, kelas Bapak Ibu. Sehingga ya itu tadi, semuanya tahu, semuanya sepakat pada saat meeting, setelah di absen, setelah mengisi daftar hadir misalkan, nah baru, mengikuti sesi. Nah pada saat mengikuti sesi kalau ada yang tiba-tiba hilang, nah tinggal padahal mereka harus, say goodbye nih di akhir gitu. Okay, so I've translated that part that you say you have to say goodbye, your students have to say goodbye to you at the end of the session.
Well,
To
like
make
we
sure
did
that they are in the room.
well, and like I do that if you're in person with me. If you're
Mm,
on campus, when you're leaving my room, I've got to be out in the hall, and so I greet everybody when they come in, but also when they leave, I have it like I
yes.
say something to each one of them. And
Mm,
so something that even when they're at home, like if they've got to be at home on quarantine, it's still something they're used to because they're
mm-mm.
like, I still get to do it.
Yeah.
And when I teach English, I try to make it when we're reading something, I choose something that's not just like Shakespeare. I choose
Mm.
something that they're going to find to be interesting, that they're going to want to read. They write poetry. We talk about like music lyrics because it's a good way to break down language.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know that when you learn what you learn how to say in a book, it's not exactly how people speak in different places. And
Yeah.
so those local languages, those local colloquialisms, you know, I joked with you when I was in Jakarta, you know, because I learned enough Indonesian, people thought that I was okay. But I went to Ambon and with their local dialect, and it's that
You
mix
don't
of
know anything.
there's that mix of Dutch, and I was like, "Donkey well." I mean, it was, but it's that part of, you know, with students when you make them the expert.
Mm-mm.
I mean, they can tell you who Michael Jordan is. They can tell you who Kobe Bryant is.
Yeah.
If you can bring that back into that conversation when teaching English. I
Mm-hmm.
like giving them a lot of ownership over what we're doing. And again, I am very open to your expertise as well because I know that you guys are amazing at what you do.
Okay, thank you. You too. And I'm sure the teachers here are also there have their own expertise to share. So I invite them to share anything, to share anything that happens to you during this teaching, emergency teaching, remote emergency remote teaching. So probably if you have some things that you would like to share, please write down in the chat box. Jadi silahkan dituliskan di dalam kolom chat apa saja yang ingin diceritakan atau hal-hal yang ingin di-sharingkan kepada kami di sini, begitu. Sorry. Okay.
You're fine.
Right. So I think we have another response in the chat box, Amber.
I'm responding to that the person in my district that I asked about whether or not G Suites was free.
Mm-hmm.
And so they texted me back and they're kind of a big deal. So I just wanted to get the text in before we got off.
Okay, okay.
Hold on.
Yes, yes, sure. Jadi silakan Bapak Ibu menuliskan jika ada hal-hal yang ingin di-sharingkan, ada hal-hal yang ingin disampaikan atau ditanyakan ya. Okay, so first question, maybe it's another topic, she said. I want to know about physical education at your school. Maybe you can share with us how to improve physical education or teacher strategy on physical education. It's a little bit for her to improve some technique of the students when they are at home right now. Okay, Amber, do you have some?
I don't teach PE, but I know that our students talk about like PE and what they're doing.
Yeah,
Our teachers will give them like a dance challenge or
dance
like some
challenge?
video, like some sort of video workout type challenge that they do. Um,
Oh,
like I know that I'm pretty sure they've done the dance challenge this
mm-hmm,
year.
mm-hmm.
Um, my boys were really excited because today was the first day they were able to play basketball because they haven't been able to
Ah,
play sports where they can share the same ball.
mm,
Because we're at our school, we're really very strict.
mm-hmm.
But they have videos. I know that they're given workouts. They don't. They're when they're at home, it's completely asynchronous, and so they're not doing stuff at the same time as other people. Um, and so I just with anything, we have like art at home, we have choir at home, and a lot of it's them making videos showing that they're doing the
Mm,
activities for bands where they're playing
mm,
instruments. They have to show up to the meets, and so the teacher can see them playing. They upload videos, and so a lot of it is still video based, where they can. A lot of students have cell phones. They could access their Google Classroom from the phone. I know that we still require like some writing and research, even in that, where we still tie it into to literacy parts.
mm-mm.
But I know they do a lot of like I know they've done yoga videos.
And they did send the yoga videos to the teachers, the PE teachers.
I think so, but I'd have to ask them. But I know the PE teachers definitely do the videos that they send them videos to do as well, that they can practice and take care of.
So do you know like your PE teachers like having these difficulties in teaching the techniques or to the students while they are at home?
I think much like anything else, electives don't get as much attention as your regular core
Mm,
classes because they're not seen necessarily by all of the students as being as important. I will tell you that students generally will go to band way before they'll come to history or
mm,
English.
mm,
Miss Clark, the person that works in my district, said that even with the free version, you should be able to do a lot of what G Suites does, but you
yeah.
may not still have some of the bells and whistles like I do, but you should
Oh,
still be able to like take assignments, give
yeah,
feedback. You just might not be able to run your meets through Google
yeah.
Classroom.
Yeah, they did. Like that's what we are doing, I guess, and that's what everyone here is using the free version.
Mhm.
And so probably we don't have some of the privilege that you have because you have the G Suites, but I think with the basic application that the Google has, it's already been very helpful, especially with the Google Classroom, Google Form, Google Docs. I guess that's
Yeah,
what
I used the
what
basic
we need.
version. I used the
Mm,
basic version for a lot of years,
mm,
and it works really well.
yeah, I guess.
So
Yeah,
I'm
I,
gonna
I I think everyone here is will be able to pass that challenge. I mean, to understand the feature of the Google Classroom. Suddenly, it's dark again. I'm sorry, I have
let
some problem with
go.
electricity today. Okay, so anyway, do you still have some application that you'd like to share, Amber?
Yeah, let
Probably.
me go back
Yeah,
and
yeah, sure,
I
sure, sure. I
hold
think we
on.
still have like one or two more, right?
I'm having to restore my session that went with the original parts,
Mm-hmm.
and so give me just one moment.
Sure. While I'm asking them to fill out the attendance form and also the feedback form of our session. Jadi Bapak Ibu silahkan mengisi yang belum sempat mengisi daftar hadir, silahkan mengisi daftar hadir untuk verifikasi nanti untuk sertifikat dan juga mohon diisi juga untuk form feedbacknya. Jadi mohon diisi form feedback untuk kegiatan kita hari ini. Jika masih ada hal-hal yang ingin ditanyakan pada Amber atau yang ingin didiskusikan, silakan dituliskan di kolom chat. Kita akan bahas bersama. Yes,
Okay. Can you see my screen again?
I see your Google Slides.
Okay. So I'll put this, I've already sent this to you,
Yep.
and I'll put this in that Google Classroom because I linked the basic places that you can go for all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you can use Edpuzzle in Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way that you can put videos and questions in that you can send out to students.
Mm-hmm.
Nearpod is something you pay for, and I use it a lot.
Mm.
It just like parts depending on like what you wanted. I constantly am researching best practices because if you guys can figure out how you can get everybody at your meeting and everybody doing their work and
Mm-hmm.
everybody excited, please let me know what time our Zoom is and I will be there.
Yep.
Quizzes, Gimkit, Kahoot, you can make your own. You can also pull from other people. So if you just want to practice like certain English skills real fast, you know, you want to talk about something simple like different like animals or fruit, or you want to talk about adjectives, or you want to
Mm.
go into not just parts of speech, but other parts. And so
Mm-hmm.
all of these are linked in with
Mm-hmm.
that. I can come up here and show you a couple of them that I left
Sure.
open. Hold on. That's an activity that we're taking care of. What I want is right under this part that says I'm sharing. So, but it doesn't matter because I'll just go to Kahoot.
Do you use Kahoot regularly? Kahoot
I
or quizzes? Which
I
one do you
use
use regularly?
I use GimKit regularly,
Oh, now
but
you use oh,
it
you
was
use
another
GameKit
part where there
regularly.
there is a free version, but it's
Really?
that part is paid. GimKit
Mm.
is something that I can go to GimKit too, um, for you to see.
Yeah,
And
sure.
GimKit, I looked it up, and they have Indonesian. So
Really? Like in
choose your
Bahasa Indonesia?
it says Indonesian. It doesn't say Bahasa, so I'm not sure
it's
exactly.
it's Bahasa Indonesia then.
I
Okay.
hope so because it's what it should be. Um, with GimKit,
Uh-huh.
um,
Oh,
with
this is GameKit.
GimKit,
So it's more
if
like
you
yeah. So it's like
I'll log into mine. You
okay,
can't
okay.
see anything. Okay, I can go to the GimKit Live.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started making one that I thought we'd play, but it's gone so long. But when I can put up a lesson that I've made, a kit that I've made, or
Mm-hmm.
I can create a new kit.
Mm-hmm.
I could type it whatever I wanted, adjectives.
Mm-hmm.
I can pull the questions in myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily need any photos. We'll say English. And so that can just go through that. I can add questions in if it's something that I want to make,
Mm-hmm.
or I can even create flashcards for students. I
Oh.
can type in the questions here. You could write the question and be like, what does the photo show?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if you were, like, what is the photo? What part of speech does the photo show? And you could show somebody running, and then that would
Mm-hmm.
be a verb where, you can type it in here. Um, you can work at any level you want it to work at. You could,
So you just
show.
yeah, so you just like adjust it with the level of the students, right?
Yes. And so it's something that regardless of how high or how low
Mm-hmm.
you're working, it could be
Mm-hmm.
very basic English where like what does the photo show? That's an orange. You could be talking about fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could say how do you say thank you in or how do you say terima kasih?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you would just switch it out with like terima kasih, sama sama, just like those close type things
Mm-hmm.
where when they're learning how do they say thank you in English, how do you say you're welcome, or even you can take it to higher level questions that go with like actual grammar and structure.
Right, right.
And so,
This is a good choice for aside from Kahoot and quizzes.
yeah, you can also add in audio. And so for students that struggle, you
Mm-hmm.
can say you can read the question, like what does the photo show? And
Mm-hmm.
they can hear it. And it's a way for them to constantly hear those same parts. And so when you're in a Kahoot,
Mm-hmm.
um it's something where they've got to have like a specific device where they're touching um okay, it's gonna actually won't make me put something in and I can't do that with it up.
Yeah. No.
um but it's that part of when you're looking at, you can do annotations and articles, and so that's more higher level secondary. Here is an article about something, you can ask questions that go with it, they can annotate where they're highlighting, they're explaining. um you can get activities at Edutopia or Khan Academy.
I love Edutopia.
It's my favorite, that's why it's first.
I love Edutopia. So
It's
I
great.
always read their articles. They have like this, well, I guess it's high quality article, best practices from teachers. And many kinds of information are there and lots of topics.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so, like you can search by like the topic that you
Yes.
want to go with.
Yes. Yep.
They have great articles that are like, how to make
Agree.
sure meaning strengthening relationships with students online. So that's
Yep.
something that it's overall, I struggle with it. Everybody struggles with it. It goes with a lot of questions. Um, there where you're it's written by researchers, it's written by teachers.
Mm-hmm.
It's something where Edutopia is literally my favorite place to go.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And
I
so
love Edutopia.
I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
I also I follow teachers on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok,
Mm.
Twitter, where teachers are thieves. They steal a lot, and if you want to give me ideas, I mean, I'll take whatever you'll give me. To me in education, we should always share what we're doing. Like if you have something that works,
Indeed.
I want to know and see how I can fit it into my room.
Yeah, because that's the most authentic things that we teachers do, for teachers, from teachers.
I mean, please share it, steal it, send it
Yeah.
to everyone. I don't
Steal
care.
it.
You honestly don't even need to give me credit. As long as the education is going on, I'm good.
Yeah.
Um,
I super agree with you.
some of
Right.
the easiest activities to do virtually, interactive timelines. You can have them go to places. You can have them create an interactive timeline. My kids just made an interactive timeline themselves. They like doing that. They like going to them and they like creating. You can do a lot of hyperlink documents, breakout rooms. I like those better in person, but they work well virtually as well. I still focus on a lot of annotations. And then I left this at the end of whenever I try something new, I start small. I don't try to go out, and I didn't start making a green screen, activity yesterday. My part was I've used technology my entire time teaching. And each year I add something new in. I add something more in. Because if I'm going to do it, if my students are going to do it, I have to really know how to do it well. And but I'm obviously never going to make TikTok videos because I'm not.
That's an exception,
You know.
Yeah, so let me just translate the one that you said last thing. Jadi Bapak Ibu setiap kali Amber akan melakukan sesuatu yang baru di kelasnya, dia selalu menggunakan atau memasukkan teknologi dalam kelasnya, dan dia tidak serta-merta berpraktek seperti itu. Dia mulai dengan yang sederhana terlebih dahulu, sederhana yang kecil yang bisa dia lakukan, dan itu kemudian berkembang dan berkembang. Nah, yang terpenting adalah bahwa dalam span waktu yang sekian tahun, setiap tahun kita harus berusaha untuk menambah satu hal. Dengan pandangan seperti ini, siswa kita kan selalu berubah ya, siswa kita juga selalu berubah, dan apa yang disukai siswa kita tahun ini akan berbeda tahun depan. Maka jika siswa kita memang bisa melakukannya dan akan melakukannya, maka kita juga harus berusaha untuk bisa juga menggunakannya meskipun tidak secara sempurna begitu. Jadi mulai dengan yang kecil dan mulai dengan sesuatu yang memang bisa dipergunakan di dalam kelas dan dinikmati juga oleh si siswa kita. Alright, so yes, so we are almost at the end of our session today. Let's see if we have more questions. Kalau Bapak Ibu ada yang ingin bertanya langsung, silahkan tekan tombol raise hand-nya. Nanti akan saya nyalakan mikrofonnya. Kalau ada yang ingin bertanya langsung atau mau menuliskan saja di kolom chat, boleh. Adakah yang ingin bertanya langsung kepada Amber? Saya akan menyalakan mikrofonnya.
I haven't been called a bully so much since I was in that shopping mall.
You didn't what? Sorry?
I said I haven't been called a bully so much since I was in that shopping mall.
Someone call you bully?
Yeah, in Jakarta, not here.
Okay. Did you miss that call? I'm sure you're not.
Well, it didn't click in at first, but Jem is Filipino American, and so a lot of people in Indonesia thought she was Indonesian. And
right.
so I started
Yeah, I saw when we have that, when I remember when we had the reflection that hits her so much, you know? Yeah.
And I started walking with her, and she was like, "You need to go away because I'm not going to get the good deals." And I was like, "All
Oh
right."
my God. Right.
I
Well, yes, the same. Oke, adakah yang ingin bertanya langsung Bapak Ibu sebelum kita masuk ke yang hal terakhir yang akan disampaikan oleh Amber? Tidak ada? Oke. Baik, jadi I
I
think
would
one
love to
person.
be there. I was supposed to come back this summer. I was supposed to come and do some work with Risky and be in some schools and I like go to some English classes and interact with students. I was
Yeah.
looking forward to it so much.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what happened to that plan now, you know, because of that COVID thingy.
If you guys have any way I can come back, I will come back. Um, my experience in Indonesia was great. It was delightful. You guys are very welcoming. Generally speaking, I was talking to my students where I always felt really safe and respected everywhere that we went. That's not always the case in every neighborhood
Iya,
in America. It's fine, like the city that I live in, but we know some of the bigger ones. We've got some crime.
right. So,
Yeah, here
yes,
anytime. But
Amber
lively with
bilang dia sangat sangat ingin ya bisa datang ya. Dan sebenarnya kita tahun ini sebenarnya kita menjadwalkan untuk Amber bisa datang ke Musi Banyuasin terutama, tetapi karena COVID dan tidak ada yang bisa keluar masuk Amerika dan tidak ada yang bisa masuk keluar Indonesia, tidak bisa keluar masuk Indonesia ya seperti itu. Akhirnya kita membatalkan untuk kedatangannya. But you're here at least virtually. But I'm sure that one day you'll be here again, Amber,
I hope,
and meeting us and probably sharing your other best practices. Uh,
and I love the way I love seeing the way that you guys do things as well. Because there's a lot that I can take from what you do back to my own classrooms with my students as well.
Yeah, that will be great. That will be lovely if you come here. And so this session is a part of our effort to make you one day coming and sharing with teachers. Okay, so I hope you have fun sharing your best practices today, Amber. And I know that I have fun talking to you, discussing lots of things with you this day, today. I'm sure there will be lots of time, lots of opportunities coming up, and hopefully you'll be able to join us later on.
Well, when we're safe to travel again, whether it's
When we are
virtual
safe travel again, yep.
whether it's virtual or in person or what.
Yeah, or maybe some of the teachers here are applying for a scholarship to United States, and hopefully, hopefully
Well,
they'll be able to come.
there's M&F does some stuff. You used iLab, didn't you?
Yes, I was in iLab.
And so, I
Yes.
mean, I I honestly I don't know travel restrictions and stuff right now. They change so often. I don't
Yeah.
I can't fly through Japan right now still.
Yeah, we cannot. We cannot. We are one country that being blacklisted because of too many cases here.
Um,
So we still cannot go anywhere. That's why.
Neither can we.
Yep.
There are like
So
7 countries in the world that will.
so last but not least, let's have a picture taking Amber with everyone here. Wait, let me set the gallery view. Nah, Bapak Ibu boleh nyalakan videonya sehingga nanti bisa saya ambil gambar kita untuk kegiatan kita hari ini. Jangan lupa untuk mengisi daftar hadir dan mengisi feedback formnya ya. Jangan lupa untuk mengisi daftar hadir dan mengisi feedback formnya sehingga kita bisa masukkan untuk sertifikat ya. You will get one certificate also, Amber, from us.
Yes.
Yes, with my picture in it.
I took a picture earlier, so even better.
Oke, baik. Silakan dibuka dulu Bapak Ibu untuk foto videonya. Saya akan ambil fotonya ya. Oke. Alright, so ready? Ada beberapa halaman di sini ya, jadi mohon bersabar saat saya mengambil foto, oke? Baik, 1, 2, 3, saya masih di halaman pertama. 1, 2, 3, you still remember 1, 2, 3, right, Amber?
Yeah, you just count it down. I'm with you.
1, 2, 3. Oke, this is one. Let me save this first. Okay, and then I'm going to the next page. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, so thank you for coming, everyone. Thank you for coming, and thank you for having us here. Thank you for sharing with us in the chat box. Terima kasih sudah sharing bersama di kolom chat. Thank you to Amber for everything that you shared today.
Thank you for having me, because I would totally love to come back. I need that West Coast needs to drop
You
out.
will be coming back to Indonesia one day. Oke, bye-bye everyone. Terima kasih semuanya. Sampai ketemu. Boleh menyalakan mikrofonnya jika ingin say hello langsung kepada Amber. Oke, silahkan leave ruangan meeting satu persatu dan sampai ketemu lain waktu. Bye-bye.
Terima kasih, Ibu Rizky.
Terima kasih Ibu Amber.
You know, you should have also shared some of your experiences in America.
I'm sorry?
And you have also shared some of your experiences in America. Like, did you take any virtual classes while you were here in college?
Wait. Wait.
You guys dress the best.
Who?
I said, you guys dress the best. I've got like a sweater on.
Because it's morning here. Everyone is at school.
Yeah,
you see?
I am
yeah,
like,
everyone is at school. That's why. Ya, terima kasih semuanya. Terima kasih. Silahkan bisa leave room. Yeah, I do. This year, I'm joining an open program this year, Amber. What is it? From Relo, from the U.S. Embassy. It started on January on online program for English Network.
Oh my
It's
God, that now?
So I start in January, and it will goes for 8 weeks or 10 weeks. I'm supposed to have this orientation this week, like the virtual orientation this week.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine adding anything else in right now.
I have no idea, but I'm applying. So I think some people are putting my name into the nomination in the embassy, the U.S. embassy, and then I got the application form. So I just put my name and write down the essay for the application form, and then voila, it's there. So.
No, see, that's awesome. I just, with everything that we're doing right now, like, I can't imagine like even doing like a fellowship or, you know, normally
I know.
I pull other stuff in, but this virtual business, it's
yeah,
so
that's why the well, I'm okay if in doing the open program, because it's like a online classroom, right? Yeah, so online classroom, and I can use anytime my time during those January, February to do that. And unfortunately, it's like they have this kind of these rules that if I miss one class a week or
See
one class
attendance.
or 2 weeks, yeah, so there's an attendance. And then if I miss like 4 meetings or so, they will give me like a warning letter, and my name will be blacklisted from the any of activities from the Relo and US Embassy, and I don't want that happens.
No, that would be the same
I
thing.
don't want that happens to me, especially these days. Oh my God.
You
So
better hope that your electricity works fine. Help
don't
the long
say
run.
that. It only
Just put
happens
a pack on
today,
your
and
phone.
unfortunately, it only happens today.
Like you worked, you made it through.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Will you please stay for a while, Amber?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, yes,
That's my
ma'am. I was looking for the body lotion that you gave me last time.
yeah.
I mean, I was looking for another brand that has the same.
No,
Uh,
they make it there though because it's local to this area, so they make it in the
exactly. I was like, no, I cannot find it here. But
city.
I was
No,
looking for the almost the same
no.
scent,
Good.
but I couldn't find it.
Email me your address. I'll send you some.
Nah.
Email me your address. I'll send you some. There are certain things, like oh my god, C1000. You guys probably think it's just everywhere.
Yes.
The
Uh-huh.
vitamin C drink, I
Yes,
love
yes,
it.
the vitamin. Uh-huh.
Every
But
every place you stop somewhere, I would buy. You can't get it in America.
really, you don't have UC 1000 there? Are you sure? You've
I
been
am sure.
looking for
I've
it?
looked. Yes, everywhere.
Oh.
I know it makes me sad. I have to drink. Right now I'm drinking an
But what do you
orange.
have there if not UC? But there's a similar brand than UC 1000, right?
Doesn't taste the same.
Really?
Yeah, no,
You
it's
sure?
not that. I don't know what it's about. I mean, like I'm bougie about my water. I'm drinking an orange Pellegrino right now. Um, it's really good. We don't have it. We have isotonic drinks,
Uh-huh.
but they're not. It's not the same, and I haven't found anything that looks like it, that tastes like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, oh, they were the best. To
Yeah.
best. I
But
was able to find Indonesian soy sauce though. So
which
basically
one? Which Indonesian sauce?
the Indonesian soy sauce.
This Indonesian soy sauce?
Yeah.
There's a lot of soy sauce here. Which one?
Well, I mean, like, hold on. I'm gonna take you to my kitchen because it's in my kitchen. Um, the Indonesian soy sauce is sweeter because I did research first. It's sweeter than regular soy sauce, and so um, that's why your rice dishes taste so much better.
Uh-huh.
And so I had to